I woke up. The sheets were stained with sweat, my breath was no longer bathed, and conscious thoughts began to decrease. Depression kills, not in a directly physical way, but not in a way to pursue anyone except the sufferer. It made me feel psychotic. It was past the brain tissue and the atoms of their molecules. I was imagining the electrons painstakingly orbiting a chunk of ice. There was never any light in my imagination. I felt a subconscious sigh amid and tossed off the sheets. I sat up, let head drop to hands, and contemplated once again my current situation. I contemplated the fact that I could no longer stay awake during the day. I contemplated the nothingness I felt all the time about nothing. I've been contemplating suicide, yet I'm too pathetically apathetic. I got up and silently made my way to the kitchen. My night vision and preference for darkness would both increase proportionately. Light could help me navigate the cramped corners of my apartment any better than the dark. Came to the counter, loosened the lid, popped the pill, instant release. Or was it a placebo? Irrelevant. I sat down on the couch in the living room. It was 9:04 p.m. I'd woken up yesterday at the same time. I left the lights off. I always felt like the darkness bore itself into my head like an interloper, like a conqueror. It felt unnatural. I can't remember when it swallowed the last fuck I had to give. And so this is how I live my days. I know it wasn't always this way, but the apathy dulled my memory. One day it just seemed like my ribcage wasn't protecting anything worthwhile, like there wasn't any organs inside me. I go out at night for groceries, for my alcohol, for the hope that I might feel something, anything. I find myself more and more entranced by nothing, though. I administer databases remotely from a data bank located downtown. I live in White City. I see a psychiatrist once a month to keep my prescription of Prozac abundant. He doesn't do shit. I pay him so I can pay for a drug that keeps the worst away. There's depression, but there's a place past that, a place I don't ever want to be again. It was like being conscious you're insane, that you're sane while you're insane. There's no way to describe it except that it haunted me, terrorized me like I've never experienced. I'd kill myself before I got to the point again. I've been here for more than a couple years now. I need to sever myself from the ones I used to love because I no longer love. I cannot connect with anyone. Empathy evades me. I'm alone and I can't care less. I feel cold. No happiness, no fear, no anger, no frustration. Ice and apathy. The weeks went by. I found myself in the living room, slouched upon the couch. It was 8:05 in the morning. I felt a spectral sort of fatigue. Contradictory, tired and not tired. The yield from an inversion of homeostasis. I sighed, preparing to let fall a deep, dreamless sleep. I depressed the power button on the remote, gazed transfixed on the TV screen reflecting the morning sun, watching my reflection get being disemboweled by a jerky, gaunt figure, half the innards thrown, looking like they might have come out of the TV from the other side. The other half wrapped around his neck so he could devour them while keeping his scarred arms free to keep emptying me out. I stared at myself, and myself rolled its lifeless eyes towards me, until the creature slowly moved its mouth down near the bridge of my nose, cocked its head instantly, and used its tongue to spear my eyes one by one down its throat. It began to turn its head toward the TV before it could behold this nightmare walker's face. The reflection changed. There was no reflection. I sat there. I wasn't able to move. Paralysis. Seconds passed. I screamed. As loud as I could, I used the lungs I knew were still in me. Flying upwards, sprinting to a corner of the room, knocking a bookcase down so I could flat myself against the wall. Eyes from corner to corner of the apartment. Heart beating loud enough to be used as sonar. I heard sweat hit the books, and finally I felt it. I felt thick, I felt sickened, I felt disgust, I felt confusion. I could finally feel fear. I spent hours trying to calm down. There was no sleep now. It seemed that peaceful place my consciousness went to during sleep was now convoluted by a web of my internal organs. I turned every single light bulb on in my house, washed 100 milligrams of antidepressant down with something both Russian 120 proof, felt the fear and ethanol interact and puked it up, turned the TV toward the wall. I must have muttered, "What the fuck," 100 times. What the fuck? What happened? I'm not sure I've ever hallucinated anything past the familiar hypnagogic images preluding sleep. What was it that murdered my reflection? Logic couldn't find its place. There were no variables able to induce something like that. I wasn't sure what to do. The only option I had was to talk to my psychiatrist in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks passed. The TV stayed turned. The lights stayed on, even when I slept. I can't sleep like I used to. I dream now. The DMT release when I dreamt was flooding every synapse in my brain. I saw different things. One dream he licked clean my ribcage, another I used a spoon to cut his fingers off, sticking them to his neck while he just stood there. In one we sat next to each other in a love seat and simply stared at ourselves in a mirror that covered an entire wall. I had no expression on my face. He had no face, and instead scars in the form of an X over each eye, and a gangrenous green Chelsea grin connected to each side of his hairless, deformed head. The teeth were colored a browning red with jagged holes carved out of a few and atrophying flesh in between most. His mutilated lips were sewn as far away from his mouth as possible, leaving his dry and puffy, bloody and purple, rotten and decayed gums exposed. His skin was mostly bleached a bright white, with massive keloids in some areas and burned flesh in others. He wore no shirt, revealing messy stitchwork covering his entire torso. He looked like the result of a drunk mortician and years of starvation. He was tall and thin, armed with reach, deep scars at the underside of his wrist, and perhaps just sinew in the stead of muscle. He was emaciated, no sign of ribs, feet covered in caked blood and legs with sharp pockmarks in various places. He was genitalless, but not naked, as the skin he was in seemed more like a suit than a part of his body. I spent the first week distracted by paranoia, at ease when nothing happened. I made sure every light I owned was on. I made sure I had alcohol in me at all times. My psychiatric appointment arrived. I told the doctor I've experienced hallucinations. I felt intense fear. Dismissively, he told me it would seem like a result of the depression. I asked him about any side effects of the medication. Tonelessly, he said there was none relevant to my experience. I asked him which course of action I should take. Carelessly, he told me to remind myself that it's all in my head. That's all a matter of electrical flow in the brain, and neurotransmitters in the axioms. He reminded that I videotaped myself when I felt like I had control of reality to prove my future self, that everything was fine. He wrote me off another prescription of Prozac and scheduled an appointment for another month. I asked him if he would put me in for 2 weeks earlier. He said he was too busy. Fucking prick. I got home, turned the computer on, found out what the internet had to say about Prozac. Severe symptoms include hallucinations. That goddamn psychiatrist. I flushed the pills down the drain and didn't even bother with the pharmacy. I turned on the webcam. Uneasily, I began talking to my future self. Hey, you're okay right now. There's no one there. There's no more Prozac to fuck with your head. I took a swig of some incendiary to warm me up. It seems like it was just a side effect of the antidepressant. You have control over reality. There are no hallucinations anymore. You're good now. I ended the recording to a shortcut to my desktop. I nightmare again that night. He removed me bit by bit with a scalpel that had been pushed into his index finger and an ocean of blood rapidly pooling out of it. He had ripped the stitching on his torso off, drenching his body in a brown-tinged maroon, and was stuffing my organs inside him. I was still alive. I felt the pain. I wasn't sure how much blood from his finger was inside me before I woke up, nor was I sure how much of me he'd extracted. When I woke up, the bedroom door was closed. I passed the day away typically. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be feeling from being off the drug, but it was too early to discern a difference. I felt a twinge of frost, an arrowhead in the tip of my brain. Subliminal. I made another video. I told myself a few different things, and it lasted a couple minutes. Again, this file went to the desktop. I got up, stepping toward the kitchen, feeling a sort of slime touch the bottom of my foot. It didn't distract me, though. The alcohol did. I went to sleep. The next day again, the bedroom door was closed. I knew I hadn't closed it. I moved the computer desk in front of my room after I finished my night and set the webcam to record what exactly happened. I went to bed at 7:06 a.m. When I woke, the door was closed again. I rearranged the desk and slowly moved the slider, analyzing the video. He's been watching me sleep. A bleached hand with a scalpel for an index finger grabbed the edge of the door and closed it. He knew I was watching him. I drank. I wasn't sure what effect the medication had on me. Maybe it was too soon for the side effects to wear off. I had been taking the medication for a few years now, though, so why is it happening now? Either I've gone insane or something is happening. Something more real than hallucination the mind can synthesize. I'm not insane. I'm not insane. I'm not insane. I'm not insane. I can't be sane. I go back over the video again and again. He closes the door every time at 2:11 in the afternoon. However, after however much time is spent, I go back to the couple of videos I made searching for solace. I watch them and he's in them. He's standing behind me, right fucking behind me in both of them. He scratches my name into his pale chest and lets his brown-red blood drip off. I look behind me and I see the stains in the carpet. I look at the bottom of my foot and there's a branch of sickly purple vessels spreading throughout. I watched the first video, telling myself there's no one there caused an unsurgically cut smile to grow. I made the mistake of going into the bathroom. I looked down to turn the faucet off and then up, and he's right behind me, scalpel plunged in my eardrum, twisting and turning. I turn around, only a miasmic smell of putrescence. I smash the mirror. So I leave the apartment, I go to the liquor store, and as I purchase my bottle, he's standing behind the cashier with his barbed tongue wrapped around the cashier's throat, drawing blood. It waterfalls down his shirt. When the cashier talks, he sounds like he is suffocating. He sounds anguished. He doesn't act like he notices it. I sure as hell do. I go to the grocery store. I pass by the butchery, and he's in there with a blade cutting up some sort of carcass, flies looking to get their fill. His face stares at mine. The scarred X is igniting the photoreceptor cells inside my eyes. He doesn't notice the blade cutting through his fingers first, then hand, then wrist. I leave. I rent a hotel for the night. I open the door and he's standing in the middle of the room, the middle of the blood-fucking-drenched room that stinks like a slaughterhouse. I close the door. I'm back at my apartment now. I have no more peace. These last few weeks, I haven't been alone like I have been these past few years. There is nothing better than being alone, but he won't leave. He follows me. I sit in the corner of my living room, every light I have inundating my immediate surroundings. I've got 112 ounces left in a capsule of caffeine pills. I haven't seen him since the hotel. That was hours ago. Where is he? Is he waiting in the bedroom? Is he hiding the reflection of the broken mirror? Is he standing outside my door? He's still in my mind. He's invaded it, the way I used to bask in the darkness and let it envelop my imagination. I found that I now bask within his existence. He interloes with my imagination. I can hear how loudly his scarred smile laughs. I can smell the stink of rot in his breath. I can feel him running his pale fingers over me. I can sense him in every way possible, but I can't see him. He leaves that up to my imagination. He's there, but I don't know where. He has stolen my sanity, and I don't know where to find it. It's 12:01 a.m. There's a stench in my apartment, like blood fermented for consumption, like flesh rotted to an extra rare. There is footsteps in my bedroom, one in the kitchen, another right in front of me. The radius of the light is my domain, the only safe place. He weaves through the parts of darkness. I think I can see him, yet all I can see is darkness, warped and twisting on itself. It flows ethereally, consuming everything in it. I don't feel fear anymore. I feel empty. I feel the end. I take a very long drink, and I turn the lights off.